This should work. So hello, if this is your first time here, my name is Shiro. I'm a comic artist. What I usually do on these streams is I talk a little bit if something interesting happened or if I did any art in the past week. And then I move on to drawing my weekly webcomic, Bootleg Cookie. Of course, first things first, we're going to post the rules. I'm gonna have a sip of water. I'm a little sad today because yesterday I went to lift my tumbler and there's a little rubber butt, and the rubber butt like stuck a little bit too much to my side table. It fell off. I did put like a ton of super glue under it and let it rest for the night. I hope it's going to be solid. If not, I'm going to see about finding stronger glue and then sanding the metal bottom so that there's a guaranteed good grip. I bet that was not really what you had in mind when I talk about art. I did do something yesterday. Give me a second, guys. You're gonna love this. Was not happy with doing the weekly bootleg cookie. Not happy with doing the color challenge last week. If I haven't completely lost track of time. Not happy with doing the dailies because I'm trying to win a Kool-Aid contest because I love Kool-Aid so much. Some of you guys know that I also enjoy a little session of needle felting here and there. And while I'm not exactly super interested in Labubus, I know, pick me, I'm so special, huh? Well, I'm not interested in collecting them, but I do love the fact that they would fall like perfectly into the Moomins universe. Like you could draw one. Oh, hi Ronald. But like I said, that you can draw one in the Moomin universe and it would pass, no problem. I love that. And there is a specific model of Labubu that I find super cute. It's the like, I'm sure it's got like a really weird name. It's a shrimp tempura Labubu. But like I said, I'm not interested in collecting them. But I can needle felt. And there is a piece of merch that I've wanted for the longest time. And I don't have it yet. Like, I just want one. I don't want to start yet another collection. I'm already collecting Sailor Moon stuff and Luigi's and video games in general. But I just wanted one baby Garfield. It's hard to tell with the lighting, but his face is actually orange. The breading is actually yellow. So I made myself a baby Garfield tempura shrimp. And I'm very happy. He's super cute. I might resculpt his face a little bit more. And he is very fat. Very important when it comes to any age of Garfield. I'm gonna put you here for now and put you back on your shelf when I'm done. And he didn't take a lot of time, surprisingly enough. He only took an hour and a half, which is very, very fast when it comes to needle felting something. Like, even if he's super... Hi, Paul. Even if he's, like, he's got these super, like, simple shape to him, it does take a while to needle felt anything, if only the time to sculpt the base. And surprisingly enough, look, no wounds. And I did stab myself a couple times pretty hard with the needle. Then I was like, oh yeah, that's right, I got some leather. I got some leather cuffs for that. And I don't know if it's worse when I'm doing it fast, when I'm needle felting fast, when I'm trying to build up the base body, or when I'm needle felting slow when I'm applying the details, because I have different strengths of needles, and of course I use the stronger ones to build up and the thinner ones for detail. And the thinner ones, they're the ones that will go right through your shape. And since I'm pushing slower, I'm kind of pushing really slow into my finger, and that does not feel good. At least when it's fast, you're like, ow! Also, we are now 12% funded on the Suikoden 1 and 2 HD. Thank you very much. Very appreciated. And we are Sunday the 12th. So my eye appointment is going to be next week, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm not looking forward to the absolute fortune I'm going to have to spend, but I am looking forward to my eyes like readjusting faster, because lately, ever since I had that weird problem with my eyes taking way too long to refocus, my eyes have been better, but I still want new glasses. Hi, Coco. I still want new glasses to not make my already old eyes worse. Because I kind of need those. I kind of use them a lot every day. So yeah, that's gonna make a huge dent in my meager budget. So I'm gonna be begging forever. That's what I'm gonna do. Now I'm gonna scoot that up here and hope against hope, because when I started Streamlabs like earlier, I did a test to see if it would switch to my secondary screen, and it switched to my main screen again. This is a 1 time out of 2 things. So right now, and I tested it before going to the intro screen, it should go to my tablet. If it does not, I am going to write an angry letter. That's better. Hope you guys are enjoying the background music, because I can't hear it at all. And since nobody is complaining on YouTube, I must be sounding normal. Just for fun. Yeah, my fan is acting normal. Alright, so let's get started. Of course, my background is gray to try and give my eyes a little break from all the bright contrasting. And I also finally finished all the commissions for this round, so I'm going to reopen my commissions soon. I just don't have a date yet because I want to add more options. I don't know what a hatchback looks like. I draw like poop when it comes to cars. This was back when I could still go to conventions, and I was trying like to go to a convention for the allotted time, like get there the day before, do the con, and leave the day or 2 days after. And then I missed one because of the weather, and after that when I decided that I was going to take a week vacation every time. A week, 2 weeks. 2 weeks vacation, pretty much. Because I arrived like almost a week before, and then a week after I would leave. And my friend Kitty would host me in the meantime. I haven't gone in years. I wish I could. I can't even go to local ones. Like going to local ones, I would be able to afford the transport, but not much else. I'm not even trying. I'm literally just doing cartoon cars. So yeah. This happened. This is a real thing that happened, of course. Because of the driving conditions in Timmins, like Davis had to brake suddenly, and which somehow opened his hatchback, and the boxes popping out are my Copic markers. Like, this story is so old. Davis and Mac didn't have kids yet. Like, I barely had time to react, but then again, I didn't react. Have you thought about drawing in the style of Charles Schultz, Milt Gross, or Bill Watterson? Eh. I mean, I could if I wanted to. I did draw, like, one parody comic of Calvin and Hobbes. Because the thing is, I did grow up with a lot of peanuts. I did not grow up with Bill and Milt. Milt, if I'm not mistaken, let me just look up his name real quick because I think that's... I want to say that's Pogo, but I'm not sure. And you can tell I am not familiar with this guy. So he would have never occurred to me because I don't know who that is. Cute style though. It's also like asking me if I would consider drawing in the style of Charles Addams. I did not grow up with Charles Addams. And as far as Bill Watterson goes, by the way, thank you. Pogo was created by Walt Kelly, a former Disney animator. Oh, we got 5 people in the chat today on top of that. Oh my goodness. 5! Even if you're lurking, little engagement is always appreciated. But even if you're just lurking, welcome. And Bill Watterson, my only real like knowledge of Calvin and Hobbes was that they used Calvin and Hobbes comics to help teach us English in grade 12. It's me, I'm the one lurking. Hi, Corbsy! I don't even want to imagine how much Copics costs nowadays, because the price must have gone up with the inflation. But at the time, they were still, like, ridiculously expensive. And somebody was nice enough to get me a 72 pack. And I will forever be grateful. I know their names, I just don't want to ruin the anonymity. But it did help a lot. And what do I do with that generosity? I throw the entire collection on the road. Well, it wasn't me. It was Davis for not closing his hatchback correctly. That was also my first encounter with Mike Ruth. The Uncouth Ruth. Just like every other big, scary, hairy-looking guys, he is an absolute sweetheart. Another one who is scary-looking, but also an absolute sweetheart is Rob Sachetto, or Sacchetto, but I think it's Sachetto. He specializes in zombies, and I did do a comic on him once. Not the time of when we met, but the con after, when I found out, like, my booth, what was behind his, and we shared a drape. I was like, Rob! And he was like, hey! And I hugged him, and he said, not too tight or frosting will come out. So I'm just picturing this giant cupcake. I'm just gonna make like this really cheap, unrealistic hatchback. And where was Davis in the meantime? He was still at the wheel, because it's not like he could simply get out. We were literally at a stop sign on the road. So Mac was like, phew! I think she teleported out of the car. So yeah, in the rare instances where I don't draw either Dragon... I should more say Akira Toriyama, because I don't really draw Dragon Ball style. I draw more Dr. Slump style when I go for Akira Toriyama. Or Naoko Takushi, or... I still say it in French, it's Takeuchi. Or Yoshitaka Amano styles. When I go out of there, it's usually like Uderzo or like a generic Archie House style. I do some Junko Mizuno sometimes too, because the thing is, when I decide to draw in another style, I don't really have like a challenge in mind. It's just that if I feel like drawing something and I feel that it would look great in a certain style. Because when I draw for myself, it is 100% for fun. But I will gravitate more towards styles that I grew up with. Like, I also grew up with Garfield. I'm almost never drawing Garfield style. Almost never. This counts because I feel like when I sculpt something, my art style shows up in the sculpt. Like, I can tell that if I would draw a sculpture, it would look like I drew it. You know? I don't know if that made sense. If I make sense in my own head, good enough. And for the curious, I'm just trying to wake up here, good luck. And for the curious, of all the markers that ended up on the pavement, one got busted, and it was just a cap. The cap got busted, had one chip, one really big chip, coming out of it, so I replaced the entire marker because I was not going to start scouring eBay for one cap. And I don't remember exactly which shade it was, but I do remember it was one of my pinks. And I never forgave Davis. I'm kidding. Okay. So you guys don't have to wonder where Davis was. There he is. I did say I wanted to draw Dirty Pair on the Shikishi board a while back, and I haven't done it yet because turns out Shikishi boards are really hard to draw on. But like anything else, it's probably just a thing of experimenting and practicing. Because there's some people that get like amazing results on them. I'm not one of them yet, but I could be if I apply myself, which I'm not doing right now, but I should. As far as Garfield is concerned, the last time the strip was funny was in 2019 on account of him eating a songbird. And again, the character hasn't been the same since Lorenzo Music died. The day the music died. Waiting for you guys to get that one. Also notice whenever I draw Davis, I never really draw him chibi because he is not. The man is gigantic. Like his face will be chibi, but he himself will always be tall and long because he is. Drove the Chevy to the levee and the levee was dry. See, somebody pays attention. I mean, it's kind of hard to be mad at Jim Davis for marketing Garfield because it's not a new thing. and it's well known that Davis was marketed like. What Davis did with Garfield is the complete opposite of what Bill Watterson did with Calvin and Hobbes. Watterson did not want any derived products. Is he a human noodle or is he big all around? He's huge. Like, we take pictures together, he's nice enough to, like, go down to my level. Going down. Going down. Going down. Okay, we both fit in the frame. Like, the man splits in half. And the minute Davis could license out Garfield, like he made Paws Inc. It was like, I want Garfield on everything! Which is his right, mind you. Was it in 2017 that he had to close down Paws Inc.? I don't remember the year. But I'm pretty sure it was in the 2000s. I'm gonna move that a bit because I don't want it touching the frame. There we go. Jim Davis also had U.S. Acres. Man, I also had some of my favorite parts of Garfield's Garfields and Friends. Yeah, I do remember that. In French, it was called La Ferme d'Orson. There were some name changes, but I'm not going into that today. Because it's been forever since I've seen Garfields and Friends in either language. And for those curious, does Garfield sound similar in French as he does in English? Yes and no. He kind of sounds like the voice actor sounds like he's trying to do Lorenzo music with a really bad cold. He's talking from the sinus, if that makes sense. Kind of sounds like bleh, bleh, bleh. Instead of Lorenzo's music, more sleepy voice. I know that Matt Groening had to close Bongo Comics in 2018. I thought it was earlier than that. I know he also ended Life is Hell. And then a couple conventions after that, he changed cars, but it was not much better. The new one would lock and unlock any rent-up door at any time while we were driving with him. And then, like, it was me, Davis, Andrew, Josh, and Josh started, "Looks like we've got ourselves a demon." And then we all improvised this bit about this exorcist mechanic. Like how he was asked to exorcise this little girl, and then he went in her room and he would slide under the bed, like he would slide under a car for repairs, and then he'd be like, "Ah, yeah, I see your problem, I see your problem," and would pull out a Ouija board. And then he'd have an itemized invoice. And his wife, his truck, and his dog all had the same name. Because why not? And the queen herself, Mac. That is her real nickname. Just like her husband, she is an absolute sweetheart. Then again, I'm not really friends with assholes. The only asshole in my friend group is me. So I don't want the competition. You know, if it weren't for copyright, I would so be playing Weird Al Yankovic music right now during the quiet part. I happened to barely mention Weird Al yesterday to my girlfriend, and she was like, "Who is Weird Al anyway? Is he like an actor?" And I was like, "You don't know who Weird Al is? Like, he lives in your country." And then I could feel it inside me. The unskippable cutscene mode. Now she knows everything about Weird Al. I did warn her that I was turning on an unskippable cutscene mode, and she was like, "Okay." And I let her have it. Whoever writes his biography would be proud. Would be nice to go back. Would be nice to be able to afford it. I miss hanging out with those guys. Like, literally, Timmins has the only beer that I can stomach. But I miss spending time with my friends over there. I know I don't go out at all here, because I don't have any friends at all here. Like, if you don't count family, and in my case, that's like 3 people, 4 if you count a dog, there's nobody at all to hang out with in town. Of course, it would probably help if I actually made the effort of going out, because people are not going to come in my house to pull me out. I would hope not. I would fight. But like, I'm one of those neurodivergents that are blessed, quote unquote, with the inability to do small talk. Like, how's the weather, how's the kids? And make an entire conversation about that. I don't drink, that also works against me. And when I do drink, it's like one drink and it has to be something I know I like. But it's also compatibility. Because like I said, Timmins has the only beer that I like. And I did enjoy spending an entire evening with Davis, Andrew, and Josh at the brewery. We had pizza to go with the beer. And after a while, I was like, oh my god, I would kill for a glass of water. But nobody judged me, and we were still able to talk without the need of getting drunk. And they didn't judge me for how little I drank, and I didn't judge them for how much they drank, and honestly, they drank pretty normal. And we shared some of our pizza with one of the guest actors that were at the con because they hadn't eaten yet and they had showed up at the brewery and we were like, hey, you want some pizza? Oh my god, please. Now remember, when doing big curves like that, you want to use your elbow and your shoulder, not your wrist. You're gonna get a smoother line. If you read the archive, I have posted a bunch of stuff, even when the goofy face is so obvious that's you. I mean, there's some tells. There's a couple tells. But there's one that I haven't drawn yet. And I don't know if I ever will, because the thing is, this guy, he's like, you know, like very, 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 very neurodivergent, and we call him Pony Guy. One con, he commissioned me for something. And then he came back asking for something bigger because his mom said that he got ripped off. I was like, I'm gonna be nice, because I do not have the energy to deal with Karens that know nothing. I'm just gonna get some bigger cards, draw him something bigger. And then he decided to stay. Like, he had a friend that was guiding him around, but he would break away from that friend and go to my table and be thankful for the pony that I drew for him. For hours. He would stand there and reminisce about the time I drew a pony for him until his quote-unquote handler came back to get him. And then he would break off again, like I'm sure he was sneaking off, to come back to my table and reminisce about the time I drew a pony for him. He did that for several cons. At the last one, it was at a point that I was literally running away from him. Like, I saw him, like, get close to my table. And I told Davis to keep an eye on my table. And I stood up texting Collins. I'm going to need a bottle of water. And then Collins showed up with the bottle of water and said, "Oh, here you go." And as I grabbed him by the shoulder, I flipped him around and I pushed him through the drapes in between the boots. And I said, "No, I need it at your table." And then I explained what was going on. Oh, that poor Dan Collins, that poor man, I manhandled him that con. The poor sweetheart, he did not deserve that. But I was kind of desperate. And I know I'm going to hell for doing that. But at the same time, there's some etiquette rules, you know? Like, it literally says in the rules of most cons to not crowd the table and stuff like that. And don't barnacle, and this guy was barnacling at my booth. And I literally just said that I'm not good at small talk, and he would stick to that one thing. Like, I remember when you drew that for me. Like, look, I'm glad you're glad. But, like, you're repeating yourself. And you're planted, like, right in the middle of my table. And you're stopping other possible customers to come to my table. Like, I am in business mode right now. and you try to be nice because it's clear he's not doing it on purpose. If you know what I mean. Like, in my head, I was like, I mean, you can talk about ponies all you want, but, like, you're only talking about that one event from years ago now. And to those of you thinking that I'm full of shit when I say that I'm rude and straight to the point, I'm rude and straight to the point to stupid people. That guy was not stupid. He was very neurodivergent. That's different. And like I said, I'm in business mode. So there were a lot of things working against me, is what I'm saying. I'm putting some skin tone right now, but I'm thinking I'm going to change my face to blue after this. How else will I show that the color drains from my face? I don't have color in my face. Yeah, that's the thing about Pony Guy, is that I can't tell the story of Pony Guy without passing for the absolute asshole that I am, even with how nicely I'm trying to talk about him. Because it's not like he misbehaves. It's not like he touches stuff he's not supposed to touch. It's not like he screams. He's very behaved. He's just insistent. And sadly, in this context, insistent is not good for business. It is extremely mean and selfish to say it like that, but that's what it is. It's also why whenever I have an interaction online, on the Vine art, mostly, like 99% of the time on the Vine art, I have an interaction that, like, doesn't sit well with me. If I can tell, like, the other person is not trying to be evil, I call them a fellow neurodivergent, because I am also awkward in my communication. And I have had some tell me, oh no, I'm not neurodivergent, and then be completely neurodivergent about their explication, their explanation. Explication. That's French. Explication. And I'm like, oh, you might want to get retested, honey. Like, I'm legitimately not saying that to be mean, because I always say fellow neurodivergent. I'm trying to relate to you. Love the light blue in your comic today. Thank you! It's to help me flat my colors. That light blue is gonna slowly disappear as we keep working. I'm also awkward with my communication. This doesn't help with my parents despite having a speech therapist until the 7th grade. Well, a speech therapist for just 1 year. That's not a lot. Plus is the fact that when you're neurodivergent and neurotypicals talk and they mean something else most of the time. Neurodivergent, you will say what you mean directly and people will look at you and go, what do you mean by that? That is exactly the words. The words that I used are the words that I meant. Or they attribute a meaning to what you said. And then you look at them like, my God, I hope you stretch before reaching that far. A good personal example is when I didn't want to get locked up in a soundproof room with a priest at 8 years old because I didn't want to confess my sins. Because let's be honest, when you're 8 and you know a little bit, at least a little bit about the Bible, I mean, if there's a book in the house, I will read it. And you're 8 and you're told to confess your sins. And you don't even say, I don't have any sins. You just say, no. Because I don't want to be locked up in a soundproof room with a priest. I am a child. I do not want to be locked in a soundproof room with anybody, even my own mom. And I love and trust my mom. And the teacher decided that what I meant was I am sinless, I am perfect, and I am superior to everybody. And that's what she told the other children, because I didn't want to go confess my sins. Like, she decided that I thought that I was superior to the other kids. Another good example, but that one's not mine, it's one that I've read on Facebook a couple times, is somebody who went to their ex-therapist now, and said that they wanted tools to better deal with people who had trouble to communicate. And the therapist said, so you want to learn to communicate better. And they said, if that's what I wanted to say, I would have said that. That is not what I said. Like, when you're neurodivergent, you get accused of being deceitful, of lying all the time. So, you're also used to saying directly what you want, what you need, and that's when you're not just used to just shutting the fuck up, because whatever you say gets you in trouble. But you're always told that you're lying, that you're trying to change what really happened, stuff like that. So in your head, it makes sense to be direct in what you have to say. So that's what you do. You say at the first degree what you want to say. And then these people don't believe you. Still. And then you don't know what to say. But to be assigned how you feel, that is... And they say neurodivergents have trouble communicating. I have never spoken to another neurodivergent where I said, if you want to reach this place, you have to go left. And then they take a hard right and say, what? And then blame me. Like, why did you tell me to go left if you didn't want me to go right? You know, that's a pretty, like, simplified, this never happened, but that's a pretty simplified explanation of what's going on when you try to talk to a neurotypical. And that's when they don't get downright angry at you and you have no idea why, and then they get angrier because you don't know why they're mad. And if you ask, then it's your fault too, because that pisses them off even more. Well, if you don't know, I'm not gonna tell you. Well, fine then. What do you want me to do with this information? There's only so much extrapolation I can do out of insufficient data. It's like I keep saying. There's a reason Mind Reader is not on my resume. I understand that sometimes it might feel like I can do it, but I cannot. It's just pattern recognition. Which is, again, something most neurotypicals don't understand. I don't like it when people bark, scream, yelling, or shout at me. All that does is turn people away from you. Yeah. Because they think that if they scream at you, you're gonna understand better. Sir or madame, I'm stupid, not deaf. Plus nowadays, the last thing you want to do is scream at me. Because the minute somebody screams at me and I turn around and do this face, oh, you're cooked. Because I'm like, ooh, permission to kick your ass. I have an alibi. Wham. Of course, this is all online, so the ass kicking is verbal. And that's it. Look at this little wee hand. Let's put it to my face for scale. Look at this. Look at this little thing. I can't hurt anybody with that. This. Ah. Oh, I will hurt your feelings. I will hurt your mama's feelings. I mean, I put him in a t-shirt, but then again, he was hot because he was also helping with breaking down the whole convention when the convention is over. So he probably had his coat in the van along with us. Yeah, that's more like it. The logic behind that is inherently flawed. Yes, I agree. And there's literally a Japanese there's a Japanese term for that, and the term means like reading the air. Like they will literally say something and hope that you will feel that they mean something else. And if I ever visit Japan, I will need a shirt that says in Japanese, I cannot read the air. I am air illiterate. I will be direct, and if you're direct to me, it is not rude. Like, I so cannot read the air that communicatively, I am asthmatic. Like, there is one instance where I can read the air, and that's when I can feel when somebody's bullshitting me. Which is hard for most people, but like I get this feeling like and I usually use that superpower on scammers. Like you can, there's some people that you can just tell that even if you're not good at subtle stuff, they're even worse and you can tell. And you're sitting there listening and you're like, I don't believe you. Thanks for another fun show, Shiro. Your comic looks awesome. Thank you, Paul. So yeah, a lot of me being an asshole is simply a lot of me not being understood when I communicate. But some of it is, of course, on purpose. And I try to be, like, really obvious about it. And one last thing, because I said I wanted to make my face blue. And let's take that little... It's more green, but... I think it passes the vibe check. Alright, one last thing. What are your thoughts on the Charlie Brown specials? I like them. I'm that simple. Alright, let's take a look-see. Yeah, we're good for today, so you know what that means. I'm going to load that so I can read it. We are done with today's stream. Oh, and happy Canadian Thanksgiving. Thank you. So extra special caramel drizzle, rainbow sprinkle, chocolate syrup. Thanks to all our supporters: Amber B, Paul K, Miss Anniversary, Uttered, Bad at Multiplayer, Matthew H, Laura 6, Laura S, Corb Z, Artsy Tanuk, Jeff B, and our part-time supporters Super Dude at 808 and Rocket Mouse. Oof, I did it just in time. And next live stream is going to be next Sunday, October 19th, so one day before my eye exam. At 1 p.m. Eastern Time. That's my time, not your time. Maybe your time. I don't know you. I don't know your life. Hope you guys have fun with me draw this. I'll have fun drawing it. I'll see you guys next week. I love you all. And bye-bye.